What's up, Monster Truck fans? Thomas Borders here on another segment of Monkey Wrench out here. Tonight we got the differential out of one of our trucks. This is one that we are getting ready to get set up to have for a backup in our trucks. We run a Clark third member. Some guys run the 106 third member. Some guys are now starting to run the 2145s. There's a couple guys out there still running some of the Rockwell third members. So everybody kind of runs something different. We've had good luck out of our Clarks. That's why we stick with them. You know, why try anything different when it works? You know, we've tore up one over 10 years running the trucks. So they're pretty strong, they're pretty tough. So what we'll explain here is what is a differential. As you can see, it's this differential, it transfers the motion. So right here, you got your drive shaft coming in, spinning this way. Well, the tires want to turn this way. So how do you transfer from this way to this way? This is what's done by a ring and pinion. So this right here is your ring gear, massive ring gear. And down inside here, I don't know if you can get up inside there or not, you can see the pinion gear up inside there. So the pinion is coming in from the drive shaft and spins the ring gear. On the end of that, you know, and off of there, you can see one of our axle shafts we've snapped in half, done a pretty number on that one. But inside here is your axle shaft goes in there. So as this spins, it's spinning the axle shaft. And that's a pretty simple description of what a ring and pinion differential is. This one here is a open carrier. So what do we mean by open carrier? So when this wheel can spin this way, we can spin this wheel this way. What some guys run a full spool or a locker setup. So a full spool, it is direct all the time. Both axles spin, neither one can release. We like to run an open carrier in the fronts. Some guys don't. Some guys run full locker setup in the front. We still run the open carriers. We have good luck. Makes the truck turn a little bit easier. Does cause issues when you get in a bind if you get up on that one tire. Unfortunately, the wheel that's got the least resistance is the one that's going to be spinning. So that's the only downfall to it. Running a locker, it's going to be a little bit harder to turn, especially if you're on asphalt. But, you know, monster trucks are usually on dirt anyways or on concrete, so we don't really care. But inside here, you have spider gears inside this open carrier. So there's gear, 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 gear. And then you got a pin going through. So them gears all sit there and spin together inside there. And that's what allows everything to move. A locker setup. We run a spring locker in the rear. It's just that. It's got teeth. They lock together. Under a real hard impact, you can see sometimes one wheel will quit turning. What has happened is them springs release, allow it to jump. Some people don't like that, some do. I kind of do because I hope it doesn't cause this problem here. You know, hopefully that will release, allow it to take some pressure off, don't break axle shafts. You know, as you can see, that's a pretty good size axle shaft compared to my hand. And we snapped that right in half. But, you know, looking at this, what's in your car, most vehicles are running a 7-inch, 8-inch, maybe even a 9-inch diameter ring gear. This one here is a massive ring gear. This thing is about 14 inches, probably 16 inches across. I mean, there's my hand for comparison. That's how massive it is. But you got to sometimes have the massive to turn these tires. You know, we'll talk a little bit later in another segment kind of about the planetary setup and how this works. We got the planetary off of the powertrain truck here. And, you know, the differential turns the axle shaft that you've seen there. Here's the axle shaft coming out. Turns all this. We'll explain more of that later in another segment. But hey, if there's anything you guys want to learn about monster trucks, learn about what's going on inside them, hit us up. Make sure you like, comment on there what you want to see. Like, share our page. Share your friends. Tell them all about us. Monkey Business Motorsports. You know, Monkey Wrench. Like I said, we're going to try to do these segments quite often. Teach you more and more about monster trucks, how they work, how the inner workings are. Maybe throw some interviews with some drivers out there from time to time. But hey, we're just going to have fun. We're just a bunch of monkeys out here having fun. So hit us up, like, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.